We had our clinic next. We've been saying it all along. If they gave Jungle Boy a real talent to work with that could lead him, control the timing, put the match together, Jungle Boy can be a star. That's exactly what they did. Of course, this has been botched from the start, the booking and everything else. But as a standalone piece of business, this was the best pro wrestling match that AEW has ever put on television. Dax Harwood and Jungle Boy. Why they did it, why they've botched FTR like they have, why that dwarf dong sucker is even a part of this fucking conversation, we don't know, but they had a great match. And okay, yes, they immobilized Tully and Cash, both handcuffing them to the fucking Dino douche, but at least he is a giant. I don't know why they let Dwarf Dongsucker even come to the stage and then leave. That should not have happened. But this is what Jungle Boy is needed. Singles matches from guys that he can learn from, not a bunch of multi-man matches with gymnasts. And I'm disappointed that FTR didn't fucking ground the dwarf and just hurt him on purpose. They let me down that they stooged and bumped for him, but this was perfect on Dax's part. This was a fucking masterpiece. They took their time. And also, by the way, nobody told Cash to tape his wrist when he got handcuffed. I bet he was, well, they didn't get that active. But if you don't put some kind of padding, a bunch of rolls of tape around your wrist or tape of a wristband or something, feel all those sharp bones you've got in your wrist? Oh, fucking handcuffs hurt. I found that out a long time ago. And then I got into wrestling. Anyway, Dax led it perfectly. The timing, the selling, the coming back. He kept the tension up as to when Jungle Boy was actually going to get uncorked through this whole match. And this is also a match like this. It would subliminally have made Jungle Boy look so much better if FTR had been booked credibly and strong. And if Dax hadn't been rolling around for the dwarf 2 weeks ago, it would have been even better here. That's those subliminal things that people, it registers, but they don't even notice it at the time. But continually, Dax was making Jungle Boy fight to get the opening for a comeback, and he would get some, but then he stayed on him. And it was so much of a struggle for Jungle Boy to finally get to open all the way up. You were wanting it before it happened. I enjoyed the slingshot sit-down powerbomb, little play on Tully stuff. That was a great false finish. And time after time, Dax would stop him but couldn't put him away, but he'd never let him fucking uncork. They got the quick near falls in, the double bridge, and Flair would always, how deep? How deep in the match that Flair and whoever he was working with could do the double bridge spot was a big, because, I mean, it's easier to do in the first 15 minutes than the last 15 of 45, right? And that's why I can't remember how deep it was in the match when he and Steamboat got it in. I think what was it, New Orleans? They did. It was way anyway. And finally, he gets he finally blew a bit of a comeback, but still boom, 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 boom. It had been a struggle, and then finally catches his snare trap for the tap out. This was the best worked match, start to finish, both in terms of psychology and actual physical execution, I think, in the history of AEW television. But having said that, they can't leave anything alone. And Tully fucking throws the powder and blinds Dino douche, and they slingshot suplex Jungle Boy and spike pile drive Dino, and that's great too. And they handcuffed Dino to the ropes. That'd have been great too if they were going to go over and sodomize Jungle Boy. But instead, they cut the fucking horns off of the dinosaur's mask. We're back to children. We're back to breaking video games. If they'd have stopped at the pile driver and the fucking suplex and left them laying, it would have been a flawless segment. And then when the faces come to hit to make the save, who's in front but the fucking dwarf with a chair? and was reckless with the chair. He's throwing that chair around. I got news for you, you little fucking freak of nature. Maybe goddamn Cash, who you were slinging that chair out, won't come and give you the goddamn Hall of Fame treatment he gave that other guy. But sooner or later, you little piece of shit, you're going to fucking come out there acting all badass. You're going to sling something and you're going to brain somebody. And they're going to get in the ring and just kick the living shit out of you. And you're not going to be able to do a goddamn thing about it. And if it's somebody with any balls, which it would have to be in AEW to do that, there's nobody else going to be able to stop him either. So just watch your P's and Q's and be lucky to even be there, you little fucking prick. It's my message to Dwarf Dong Sucker. What'd you think of all of this?
Great match. Dax, I've been saying it forever, one of the best guys in the ring in the entire business. Was exactly what Jungle Boy needed. I wish they would get him away from Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt, and I wish they would have him do something in a singles division. I wish FTR would be used better. Really enjoyed the match. I noticed what you did with the chair in the post-match. Why is Marco Stunt running out there with that chair? Why doesn't someone just kick him in the fucking face? It wouldn't be hard. He's very small. Wasn't crazy about the post-match. Didn't mind the cutting of the horns as much as you did. Although I recognize it's silly.
Just buy another fucking mask.
But I thought it was really good.
You know,
everyone thought it was. I mean, there's no way anyone watched that segment and didn't think it was excellent, but also realized that this is the kind of thing they could be doing. Not everything needs to be flips and kickouts. It could be a match that tells a story that makes sense.
That's the thing, is that nobody says anything bad about it, but they're sitting there looking at something that is completely different than what they normally present. It's what this is supposed to be and the way it's supposed to be performed, and they still can't get it. Anyway, briefly, Team Taz was in the parking lot where I guess they set up the merchandise table now outside, even in 40-degree weather in Florida. And they beat up the merchandise guys and tore up the gimmick table. And boy, it looked good if it was in any way plausible and could actually happen ever. Why couldn't they just tear up the merchandise stand? I would have believed that. We're going to tear these guys up just like we're tearing up their shit and causing a problem. But when they commit physical assault and aggravated assault and mayhem on employees, it's phony. Dr. Britt Baker wrestled somebody. Less said about that, the better.